So basically, what I'm trying to say, um, and I'm sure you can resonate with this, is that these people in your family, right, even in your friend circle, they operate it with a Jezebel spirit. And their mission is to manipulate and control and divide, right? And so they come off as helpful, they come off as supportive, they enable, right? They enable you, they enable others in your family, and which leads them to their further destruction instead of pulling them away from sin, right? And these can be Christians too. They call themselves Christians, but yet they do things like this. These just is, and especially in women. For some reason, this spirit operates more in women, right? And it's like they want control. And I think it stems from rejection. I think it stems from bitterness, right? Because it's like maybe something didn't go right with their relationship with their man or something, and they became bitter over time, right? Or maybe they're single and they're old and they're divorced or whatever the case is, and now they seek to find people, victims, right? You can call them victims. The enabled are victims, right? Even though they're being used, but they're also using too, meaning that the enabler is using the enabled and the enabled is using the enabler, right? So it both goes hand in hand. The enabler is using the enabled because they want control, they want to feel powerful, they want to feel valued, right? And so they know that nobody's going to deal with them unless they give them money, right? They know that nobody's going to really look after them or look out to them or call them or check on them, right? And so they use these tactics because they like, oh well, I see that they always call me for money, right? They always call me for this, they always call me for that. And so now I can use this to my advantage, right? So they keep giving the money, they keep giving, they keep supporting, they keep bailing the enabled out, right, of every situation. And I want to use another word than the enabled, but you get what I'm saying. It's the enabler and the enabler who is enabling this person. So that person is the enabled. I'm just gonna call them the enabled, right? I'm trying to describe this to the best of my abilities. And all of this stems from manipulation. The enabler wants control. Like I said, they could just be miserable. They could be lonely, and so this fills them up when they're able to support people, and everybody calls on them. They start to feel powerful. They start to feel worshipped, right? And so why I'm saying that misery loves company is because deep down these people are miserable. They're bitter, but they appear as they have everything and they want for nothing and they're the happiest person in the world because they have money, right? But yet you don't see this because you're like, oh, they're always helping me, so they must love me. But really deep down they're miserable and they want you to be miserable too. But you don't see it like that because again, they're helping you. And so they're leading you further to destruction by helping you each time. Each time you're going to them for every little situation that you have, and each time they're bailing you out. And you're living in darkness, you're living in sin, you're not doing right. But every time you're in trouble, they're bailing you out of trouble. These are people who are leading you further in down the road of destruction. And they know this. You don't know it, but they do. And they don't care, right? They come off as they love you, right? But deep down they don't. Because if they did care, they would tell you, hey, I have to withhold from you because you're not living right. And I can't support that, right? But instead they keep giving you and giving you and giving you because they want to be in control, because they know that each time you're going to come back to them. Each time you're going to keep coming back to them. And that makes them feel powerful. That makes them feel in control. these type of people, like I said, they're miserable, they're lonely, they're by themselves, or they just, over time they became bitter. And this is the only way that they feel like they can feel valued. And so what they do, they use you, the enabled, to make them feel powerful. And as soon as you go to somebody else for help, they're like, oh, why didn't you call me? Or they try to manipulate that relationship so that now something happens between you and that person, so that now you can go back to asking them for help. Do you follow me? Like, they're so controlling and manipulative and jealous that if you call somebody else for help and not them, they want to know, oh, why did you call them? Why didn't you call me? Then they cause something to happen between you and that person, some kind of argument or something. They stir something up to where now you're not talking to that person no more. And now you got to go back to them to ask them for help. But you don't see this because you're like,